Beneath the surface of your everyday life, there are powerful forces at play, forces you may not even be aware of. These hidden patterns shape your decisions, your relationships, and your very sense of self. What if I told you that by understanding 7 distinct archetypes, you could uncover the deepest truths about who you really are? Carl Jung's groundbreaking theory shows us that these archetypes are not just abstract ideas. They're living energies within you, waiting to be discovered. What if, by unlocking these hidden aspects, you could finally understand your deepest desires, fears, and motivations? The journey to your true self begins here, and it's more profound than you can imagine. You think you know yourself. You've got a name, a job, maybe a few likes and dislikes. But what if I told you that beneath all that, beneath the surface of your personality, there are ancient forces silently shaping every decision you make, every fear you carry, every dream that stirs inside you? Forces so primal, so deeply rooted in the collective human experience, that Carl Jung called them archetypes, the original patterns of the human soul. These archetypes aren't myths or theories, they're living energies embedded in your psyche, shaping who you are and who you might become. And right now they're working in the background of your mind, pulling the strings of your behavior like invisible hands. Have you ever felt a sudden urge to help someone even at your own cost? That's not random. It might be the caregiver in you. Have you ever chased a dream so relentlessly that you forgot to eat, sleep, or care what anyone thought? That's the warrior, blazing inside your soul. These aren't just labels, they're clues, fragments of a deeper truth. Carl Jung believed that to truly know yourself, you must first recognize these internal characters. Not just recognize, but befriend them, challenge them, and let them guide you through the chaos of life towards something rare. Individuation, the process of becoming whole. The 7 archetypes you're about to discover are not fixed roles. They are dynamic, living scripts etched into your unconscious. Some dominate your life quietly, while others lie dormant, waiting to awaken. And when they do, everything changes. Your relationships, your passions, your fears, they all start to make sense. You stop living on autopilot and start living from the core of who you really are. So if you've ever felt lost in the noise of the world, disconnected from yourself, or just curious about the deeper layers of your identity, this journey is for you. Because once you meet the archetypes within you, you'll never look at yourself, or the world, the same way again. Welcome to the truth behind the mask. Welcome to the 7 archetypes that reveal your true self. The innocent is the part of you that remembers who you were before the world told you who to be. It's the wide-eyed child inside you, the one who believes in goodness, in happy endings, in the basic idea that life is meant to be beautiful. This archetype isn't naive in a weak sense. It's powerful because it dares to trust when others doubt. The innocent doesn't wear masks or play games. It yearns for safety, simplicity, and the kind of truth that can't be bought or explained. Have you ever longed for a time when things felt pure? When your heart was open? When you believed people were kind, when joy came easily? That's the innocent calling to you. In a world hardened by pain and cynicism, the innocent is your inner rebel, the one who refuses to become bitter. But don't mistake its gentleness for weakness. When the innocent leads, it leads with quiet strength. It sees the world not as it is, but as it could be. This archetype is the foundation of hope. It's what gives you the courage to begin again, even after heartbreak. It's what lets you trust someone new, even after betrayal. Carl Jung saw the innocent as essential because it's the origin point. Before you become anything else, before you grow into the warrior or the sage, you begin as the innocent. And this part of you never really dies. It's the flicker of light that stays with you, even in the darkest times. But here's the danger. When wounded, the innocent can retreat into denial. It can become passive, helpless, waiting for someone else to save the day. That's when the innocent becomes the shadow, a child trapped in fear. To heal and grow, you must protect your innocent, not silence it. You must listen to its dreams, its fears, its longing for peace. and you must balance its purity with the wisdom of experience. Because only when you remember the innocent inside you can you reclaim the joy, trust, and wonder that once came so naturally. And without that, the rest of your archetypes have no place to root. The innocent is the soul's beginning, and every journey back to self must pass through its light. If the innocent is where your story begins, the orphan is where your illusion shatters. This archetype emerges the moment you realize the world is not as safe or kind as you once believed. It's the part of you that has been abandoned, betrayed, or left to survive alone. We all carry this archetype. It's born in heartbreak, in rejection, in the silence after a cry for help goes unanswered. And yet, it is through the orphan that you discover a deeper layer of truth, the kind of truth that can't be taught, only endured. The orphan knows the reality of pain. It understands disappointment. But rather than being destroyed by it, the orphan learns how to adapt, how to fend for itself, how to keep going even when no one else shows up. This archetype gives you resilience. It sharpens your instincts. It teaches you that your wounds don't make you weak, they make you human. Jung believed the orphan is not just a figure of suffering, but a sacred stage in individuation. You must confront your own abandonment, your own loneliness, if you are to become whole. You must see the broken parts of yourself not as flaws, but as the very terrain of your transformation. The danger with the orphan is in letting it consume your worldview. If left unchecked, it can turn into bitterness, mistrust, and victimhood. You begin to see betrayal everywhere, assume the worst in people, and reject connection before it can reject you. That's the orphan's shadow, the wall it builds to never feel hurt again. But the true power of this archetype lies in what happens when you choose to trust again, not because the world is safe, but because your soul demands it. The orphan teaches you that belonging is not about being accepted, it's about accepting yourself first. When you integrate this archetype, you become someone who can sit with suffering, both your own and others, without needing to fix it or flee. You become strong not because you've never been broken, but because you've learned how to carry the pieces. The orphan is your truth teller, your survivor, and the beginning of your emotional maturity. Without it, your other archetypes have no depth. It's the wound that opens the path to your strength. After the orphan has faced the darkness and endured the storm, something begins to stir deep within. The warrior awakens. This archetype is your drive, your power, your refusal to stay down. It is the part of you that fights back, that dares to reclaim your life, that stands up and says no more. The warrior is not about aggression for its own sake, it's about purpose. It rises from your pain, forged by the disappointments of the orphan, and channels that suffering into strength. You become someone who takes responsibility for their destiny, someone who learns that anger, when guided, can become fuel, not destruction. Jung saw the warrior not just as a soldier, but as the disciplined force within you that seeks justice, integrity, and mastery. It doesn't hide from conflict, it engages with it. But not all battles are physical. Sometimes the greatest wars are fought in silence, inside your mind. The warrior teaches you how to confront the inner critic, how to defy fear, how to keep going even when everything in you wants to quit. But like all archetypes, the warrior has a shadow. When it becomes unbalanced, it turns into domination, control, and obsession with winning. You begin to see every situation as a fight, every person as a threat, and every loss as failure. The shadow warrior can burn bridges, silence emotions, and lose touch with empathy. That's why the true warrior is not just brave, it's wise. It knows when to fight and when to walk away. It knows that strength is not loud, it's focused, and real power is not control, it's discipline. When integrated, the warrior gives you backbone. It helps you set boundaries, pursue goals, and protect what matters. It doesn't ask for permission, it moves forward with conviction. In the journey of individuation, this archetype gives you the courage to act on your truth, to defend your values, and to build the life your soul is calling for. Without the warrior, dreams stay as dreams. But with it, you become someone who not only survives but leads, builds, and inspires. The warrior is your fire, your edge, your fierce devotion to becoming who you truly are, and it never settles. After the warrior has fought its battles and proven its strength, the journey leads you to a softer but equally powerful truth: the emergence of the caregiver. This archetype is the compassionate force within you that seeks to nurture, protect, and give unconditionally. It's the part of your soul that feels responsible not just for your own healing, but for the healing of others. The caregiver archetype often awakens when you've known suffering and chosen not to pass it on. Instead of letting your wounds harden you, they've deepened your empathy. You see the pain in others because you've felt it yourself, and this recognition turns into service. Jung viewed the caregiver as a vital stage in the process of individuation because it connects the self to the world through love and duty. But don't mistake the caregiver for weakness. There is a profound strength in the act of caring. It takes courage to put others before yourself, to remain gentle in a world that's often cruel, and to offer kindness with no expectation of return. However, the caregiver also has a shadow, and it's dangerous. When distorted, it turns into martyrdom. You start to give so much that you forget yourself. You suppress your own needs, emotions, and dreams, believing that your worth is tied to how much you sacrifice. You may become resentful, drained, even lost in the lives of others. That's why integration is key. The healthy caregiver sets boundaries. It gives from a place of fullness, not emptiness. It knows that to serve others, you must first honor your own well-being. It's the balance between compassion and self-respect. This archetype also reminds you that love is not always about fixing. It's about being present. Sometimes, just witnessing someone else's pain without trying to control or solve it is the greatest act of care. In your journey, the caregiver shows up when you realize that healing isn't just personal, it's relational. Your presence, your story, your tenderness, they have power. You become a source of safety in a world of chaos. And in offering that safety to others, you find it within yourself. The caregiver is the heart of your transformation, proving that love is not a weakness. It's the foundation of everything worth becoming. As your journey deepens and you begin to understand the various forces shaping your inner world, another archetype makes its presence known: the seeker. This archetype is driven by a burning desire to explore, to discover, to find something greater than yourself. The seeker is restless, always on a quest for truth, purpose, and a deeper understanding of the mysteries of life. It's the part of you that refuses to settle for superficial answers, that feels the pull of something unknown, something beyond the visible. It's the part of you that constantly asks, what more is there? What is the meaning of it all? Jung believed that the seeker is crucial in the individuation process because it pushes you to transcend the ordinary and embark on a lifelong journey of self-discovery. But the path of the seeker is not always smooth. This archetype can lead you to wander, sometimes aimlessly, in search of an answer that feels elusive. The seeker may take you to places of discomfort, to periods of uncertainty, and to a sense of dissatisfaction with the status quo. It can lead to feelings of existential crisis, as if something important is missing or incomplete. But in truth, this searching is vital. The seeker's journey is not necessarily about finding answers. It's about asking the right questions, about being open to new perspectives, and about embracing the uncertainty that comes with growth. The seeker pushes you out of your comfort zone and forces you to confront the parts of yourself that are uncomfortable, unknown, or unresolved. This archetype is not about perfection, but rather about exploration. It teaches you that life's most valuable lessons often come from the questions we ask, rather than the answers we find. The seeker is not afraid of the unknown. Instead, it finds joy in the journey itself. And while this path may sometimes lead to confusion or doubt, it also leads to profound growth and transformation. Ultimately, the seeker is about finding your authentic self through the experiences, lessons, and insights that come from pushing beyond the boundaries of what you know. It's about embracing the adventure of life and trusting that, even when the way is unclear, the journey itself will bring you closer to who you are meant to become. After the seeker's journey through the unknown, another powerful archetype begins to emerge: the lover. The lover archetype represents the deep need for connection, passion, and intimacy. It is the part of you that thrives in relationships, that seeks connection with others, and finds meaning through emotional bonds. The lover is not just about romantic love. It encompasses all forms of connection, from friendships to familial bonds, and even the profound relationship one has with oneself. Jung saw the lover as a crucial component of individuation because it connects you to your heart, to your emotional world, and to the idea that love is essential for personal growth. Love in all its forms, whether it's the love for others or for life itself, has the power to heal, transform, and inspire. However, the lover can also be a source of conflict. When the lover archetype is imbalanced, it may manifest as dependency, excessive attachment, or an inability to set healthy boundaries. The shadow of the lover can lead to unhealthy relationships where you lose yourself in others, or where the pursuit of love becomes a quest for validation or security rather than genuine connection. Yet when the lover archetype is integrated in a healthy way, it nurtures a profound understanding of your emotional needs and desires. The lover teaches you that to truly connect with others, you must first connect with yourself, to accept your own emotions, to be vulnerable, and to embrace both your light and your shadow. In this sense, the lover is about balance, finding the harmony between giving and receiving love, between being passionate and being grounded. The lover helps you to experience life fully, to feel deeply, and to be open to the beauty that exists in relationships and experiences. It also asks you to explore the vulnerability that comes with love, showing you that the capacity to love deeply is often directly tied to the capacity to experience pain, loss, and heartbreak. But even in the pain, the lover reminds you that love is a transformative force, one that has the power to make you whole and to reveal your true self. The lover teaches you that in relationships, in connection, and in intimacy, you discover not only others but also the deepest parts of yourself. Emerging from the depths of your inner psyche, the creator archetype calls you to create, to express yourself, and to bring something new into existence. The creator is the visionary, the artist, the innovator, the part of you that is driven to manifest your unique talents, ideas, and dreams in the world. Whether through art, science, business, or personal endeavors, the creator's primary motivation is to transform the raw material of life into something meaningful and beautiful. Jung believed that the creator archetype was essential to individuation because it embodies the desire to make your mark on the world and to fully express your authentic self. The creator does not fear mistakes, nor does it shy away from challenges. It knows that creation is an act of both joy and struggle. However, the shadow side of the creator can be found in perfectionism, self-doubt, and an obsession with external validation. When out of balance, the creator may become paralyzed by the need to produce something perfect or fear that their work will not be appreciated by others. The creator might also get lost in endless planning and ideation, never actually completing their projects. But when the creator is aligned, it brings clarity and energy to your personal expression. The creator helps you to tap into the flow of inspiration, to take risks, and to embrace your authentic voice without fear of judgment. It encourages you to let go of rigid structures and perfectionism, and to create freely from the heart. Through the creator, you learn that the act of creation is as much about the journey as it is about the end result. Whether you're painting, writing, designing, or problem-solving, creation is an act of self-discovery. The creator archetype teaches you to trust in your own voice and abilities, to overcome self-imposed limitations, and to boldly share your gifts with the world. By integrating the creator within yourself, you step into a life where you can continuously reinvent and express who you are as a reflection of your deeper essence. The creator empowers you to see the beauty in imperfection, to learn from failure, and to embrace your own creative journey as an essential part of becoming whole. In its highest expression, the creator is a force of transformation, not only of your inner world, but also of the world around you. The ruler archetype emerges as the embodiment of leadership, authority, and governance. It is the part of you that seeks to establish order, take charge of situations, and create structures that bring stability and growth. Whether in personal relationships, professional environments, or larger societal contexts, the ruler's influence is profound. It urges you to recognize your own power and to step into a role of responsibility where you can guide others toward a common purpose. This archetype is concerned with building a strong foundation for success, protecting what has been established, and maintaining balance through organization and direction. Jung viewed the ruler as a necessary component of the individuation process because it helps you take responsibility for your life and harness your personal power in a positive way. At its core, the ruler archetype is about mastering your own life and creating a vision for what you want to build or achieve. The shadow side of the ruler, however, is often found in the abuse of power. When out of balance, the ruler can become controlling, overly authoritarian, or narcissistic, believing that only their way is the right way. They may manipulate situations to retain power or fail to consider the needs and autonomy of others. This overbearing desire for control can lead to isolation, anxiety, and a lack of trust in others. The key to integrating the ruler archetype into your life is recognizing that true leadership involves service, not domination. When the ruler archetype is well balanced, it inspires confidence and respect, encouraging collaboration and wisdom. It invites you to step into a leadership role that is grounded in empathy, ethics, and respect for others' autonomy. By embracing the ruler within yourself, you learn that leadership is not about exerting dominance, but about guiding with integrity and making decisions that benefit the greater good. Longs to explore the mysteries of life and gain insight into the nature of reality. The sage is not driven by emotion or impulse, but by intellect and curiosity, constantly questioning and searching for deeper meaning. In the process of individuation, the sage invites you to detach from the superficial layers of existence and to embark on a journey of intellectual and spiritual growth. Jung saw the sage as a key archetype in the search for wholeness, as it encourages you to transcend the ego and gain a broader perspective on life. The sage seeks clarity and truth in all things, guiding you to embrace reason, logic, and self-reflection as tools for understanding yourself and the world around you. However, the sage's pursuit of wisdom can sometimes lead to isolation, as its focus on inner contemplation may distance it from the emotional aspects of life. When the sage becomes too rigid or intellectual, it can become detached from its own emotions and indifferent to the practical needs of others. The shadow side of the sage is found in an over-reliance on knowledge, where the pursuit of intellectual superiority can overshadow empathy and understanding. It may become overly critical or dismissive of others' viewpoints, believing that only its own understanding is valid. Balancing the sage archetype involves integrating intellectual pursuits with emotional awareness and practical engagement with the world. A balanced sage is someone who seeks knowledge not as a means of superiority, but as a means of service, to help others grow, learn, and see the world from a broader perspective. The sage archetype teaches you that wisdom is not just about accumulating information, but about finding deeper connections and understanding that lead to peace and harmony. It encourages you to embrace your intellectual curiosity and to trust that through knowledge and reflection, you can uncover profound truths about yourself and the world. As you cultivate the sage within you, you learn that true wisdom comes from a combination of experience, reflection, and humility. The sage is not simply a passive observer, but an active participant in the process of transformation, offering clarity and guidance when needed most. In the end, the sage shows you that the pursuit of truth is a lifelong journey, one that is never complete, but always evolving as you continue to seek understanding and enlightenment. The sage archetype represents the quest for wisdom, truth, and deeper understanding. It is the inner seeker that longs to explore the mysteries of life and gain insight into the nature of reality. The sage is not driven by emotion or impulse, but by intellect and curiosity, constantly questioning and searching for deeper meaning. In the process of individuation, the sage invites you to detach from the superficial layers of existence and to embark on a journey of intellectual and spiritual growth. Jung saw the sage as a key archetype in the search for wholeness, as it encourages you to transcend the ego and gain a broader perspective on life. The sage seeks clarity and truth in all things, guiding you to embrace reason, logic, and self-reflection as tools for understanding yourself and the world around you. However, the sage's pursuit of wisdom can sometimes lead to isolation, as its focus on inner contemplation may distance it from the emotional aspects of life. When the sage becomes too rigid or intellectual, it can become detached from its own emotions, and indifferent to the practical needs of others. The shadow side of the sage is found in an over-reliance on knowledge, where the pursuit of intellectual superiority can overshadow empathy and understanding. It may become overly critical or dismissive of others' viewpoints, believing that only its own understanding is valid. Balancing the sage archetype involves integrating intellectual pursuits with emotional awareness and practical engagement with the world. A balanced sage is someone who seeks knowledge not as a means of superiority, but as a means of service, to help others grow, learn, and see the world from a broader perspective. The sage archetype teaches you that wisdom is not just about accumulating information, but about finding deeper connections and understanding that lead to peace and harmony. It encourages you to embrace your intellectual curiosity and to trust that through knowledge and reflection, you can uncover profound truths about yourself and the world. As you cultivate the sage within you, you learn that true wisdom comes from a combination of experience, reflection, and humility. The sage is not simply a passive observer, but an active participant in the process of transformation, offering clarity and guidance when needed most. In the end, the sage shows you that the pursuit of truth is a lifelong journey, one that is never complete, but always evolving as you continue to seek understanding and enlightenment. The sage archetype represents the quest for wisdom, truth, and deeper understanding. It is the inner seeker that longs to explore the mysteries of life and gain insight into the nature of reality. The sage is not driven by emotion or impulse, but by intellect and curiosity, constantly questioning and searching for deeper meaning. In the process of individuation, the sage invites you to detach from the superficial layers of existence and to embark on a journey of intellectual and spiritual growth. Jung saw the sage as a key archetype in the search for wholeness, as it encourages you to transcend the ego and gain a broader perspective on life. The sage seeks clarity and truth in all things, guiding you to embrace reason, logic, and self-reflection as tools for understanding yourself and the world around you. However, the sage's pursuit of wisdom can sometimes lead to isolation, as its focus on inner contemplation may distance it from the emotional aspects of life. When the sage becomes too rigid or intellectual, it can become detached from its own emotions, and indifferent to the practical needs of others. The shadow side of the sage is found in an over-reliance on knowledge, where the pursuit of intellectual superiority can overshadow empathy and understanding. It may become overly critical or dismissive of others' viewpoints, believing that only its own understanding is valid. Balancing the sage archetype involves integrating intellectual pursuits with emotional awareness and practical engagement with the world. A balanced sage is someone who seeks knowledge not as a means of superiority, but as a means of service, to help others grow, learn, and see the world from a broader perspective. The sage archetype teaches you that wisdom is not just about accumulating information, but about finding deeper connections and understanding that lead to peace and harmony. It encourages you to embrace your intellectual curiosity and to trust that through knowledge and reflection, you can uncover profound truths about yourself and the world. As you cultivate the sage within you, you learn that true wisdom comes from a combination of experience, reflection, and humility. The sage is not simply a passive observer, but an active participant in the process of transformation, offering clarity and guidance when needed most. In the end, the sage shows you that the pursuit of truth is a lifelong journey, one that is never complete, but always evolving as you continue to seek understanding and enlightenment.